What is going on, everybody? Zach RC here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome along to episode 57 of the F1 Ultimate Career Series for the Austrian Grand Prix in Season 4. If you guys did miss the last episode, make sure to go check that one out before you see this one. And as always, if you are new around here, then make sure to get subscribed for more future F1 content as the series continues on. So, round 6 of the season and our second sprint race of the year in Austria. Of course, last season's Austrian Grand Prix was fantastic. We come into this race off the back of a very poor ending to our race in Monaco. But in terms of upgrades, taking a big step forward in the last round between Monaco and Miami. And if upgrades go right there, we could actually find ourselves perhaps being the fastest team going into today's Grand Prix. So we'll make upgrades on the chassis front, so all of our resource points being pulled into that, and those upgrades, all minor ones, all should come through before the race. One air upgrade to come through as well. Look at that gap now. That gap was so large at the start of the season, but constant upgrades have helped us massively here, and we now find ourselves on the precipice of being the fastest team on the grid. Unfortunately, our MGU8 did go in Monaco, so we've got to change that out. I swapped out for a third one, but we'll put the first one in for first practice and swap in the fresh one for qualifying. There's the standings then. Verstappen still leads 104 points to his name, 34 for us. We're 70 points back, the furthest back we've been, I think, since signing for Mercedes at all in the championship. So work to be done. And of course, the first race of our rivalry was last time out against Charles Leclerc. Leclerc fortunately didn't win the race, but we managed to outscore in qualifying. Obviously, that leaves us only 4-3 for Leclerc in front. Hopefully we try and equalise that, try and pull in front ourselves over the course of this race weekend. Of course, got the sprint to think about as well, so it's going to be a bit of a longer episode today. In terms of upgrades though, all the three of them failed. You're kidding me, all the chassis upgrades went down. The aerodynamic one came through just fine, but the chassis ones all broke. That's fantastic, but I think hopefully we'll have enough time to get all three of those in before the Grand Prix. It's of course about 500 each to fix, so we'll use 1,000 of those points to fix 2 of them. We need one more weekly resource round to come through, and then from there we'll be able to fix that last upgrade to season break. Retirement announcement for Alonso, of course not relevant to us because obviously we don't get that sort of retirement in Ultimate Career, keep it to real life. Chassis department event here, so this might be something to do with why the 3 upgrades failed. Head to the simulator or attend the chassis meeting. Okay, right, so we've got a decision here to make in terms of which to go for. Given we've got chassis upgrades on the way, we're going to decline that. And hopefully that won't put us too far back in terms of simulator R&D time, whatever really the impact is of us going for the chassis meeting instead of being in the sim. Weekly resources come through, and we use those to put towards the last fixed upgrade. So those are all coming before Austria, and hopefully that'll put us towards being the fastest car. So in quite rapid development there, as 2 of the upgrades come through. Our last one here, the raw diamond, is coming in, and we'll confirm now, see if we've done enough as the chassis department event comes through. The result of it, appreciate it's kept the meeting, but it's slowed down R&D progress. So our morale in the chassis department went up 10%. That's fantastic. And there it is, only just the fastest team on the block. So we are now the quickest team, quickest car. I'm in front of Red Bull, and we can use that, go into this Grand Prix and try and take our first win of the season. Time to head into the race weekend and get the Austrian Grand Prix started. So here we go then, time for qualifying for the Austrian Grand Prix before the sprint race obviously, and obviously Austria the site of many an occasion in this series. Of course, the very first episode back in Formula 2, and of course last season's race, of course, we came from dead last and managed to come through the field to win the race. But of course our MGUH needs changing, so we'll make that fix. Fresh part of the power unit going in for our first qualifying run. So off of turn 10, of course Austria one of the shortest, if not the shortest laps of the season. So up towards turn 1 now, that long uphill stretch towards the right hand of the first corner. Very tight, want to try and avoid the sausage curbs on corner exit, or indeed the sausage curbs on the apex of turn 1 there. But a decent start to the lap, making our way now down towards turns 2 and 3, up towards that hill. Very tight right hander, of course, the place we made the pass on Verstappen for the lead in last season's race, took that victory to take our 3rd win in a row during 2022, but none of that luck so far in terms of this campaign. 16 seconds in the first sector, into sector 2 now, pushing down towards turn 4, but coming towards the end of our first lap now, making our way through turns 9 and 10, over the curb bit turn 9, but keeping it within the white lines, keeping it within track limits, through turn 10, last corner towards the line. It's a good lap here, make our way up towards the line to complete it, and it's P1 on the board there, 1 minute 5.616, so the fastest time so far. I think that's the first time we've ever completed our first run, and it's been the fastest time on the board so far. But of course, one more run still to come, and our soft tyres going on for our second set of soft tyres. Leclerc second by 34 thousandths, then it's Sainz, Hamilton, Norris the top 5. Where is Verstappen? He's outside of the top 10 completely here. He's down currently in P14, a second down of our top time so far, as Leclerc outdoes us by a tenth, so we've got a chance to set one one more time here, going on to our second and final lap in the session. Cars around us are actually within the train this time around, as opposed to being the last car come across the line, but still plenty of time to improve it, up by half a tenth, making our way towards turns 9 and 10 for the last time. Verstappen now P3, he won't top us, up by a tenth now. It's going to be very close to myself and Leclerc. Has Leclerc improved? Is he still yet to improve? Coming up towards the line to complete our run, almost 2 tenths up over the line. It'll be second place, so not quite pole position, but still, I think we're finally starting to click things in qualifying sessions now.
Ready for tomorrow's race, but before we begin, let's have a quick look at those who'll be fronting the grid. Leclerc, Cohen and Max Verstappen. Goodbye for now then, but really we're just getting started. Make sure to join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
So Leclerc's on pole position for the sprint, then we line up second, and Verstappen takes away third. But look at the gap there. We're almost 2 tenths clear of Verstappen. The first one we've actually out-qualified him all season. Things are starting to click for us in qualifying now, but can we convert it and try to take our first ever sprint win? It's time to find out. Let's get the Austrian sprint underway.
Welcome to today's sprint. This is shaping up to be another fantastic weekend. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position and Cohen completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Verstappen, Sainz, Oscar Piastri, Hamilton, Perez, Norris, Fernando Alonso, Gasly, Bottas, Albon, Ocon, Tsunoda, Stroll, Ricciardo, Hulkenberg, Joe, Magnussen and Logan Sargent. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We'll soon find out.
Here we go then, no more talking, time for action for the first race of the Austrian Grand Prix weekend, the sprint race, and lining up P2 alongside our rival Charles Leclerc. No strategy for the race, they're medium tyres all the way to the flag. Let's go.
Formation lap gets underway ahead of today's sprint. It's going to be interesting to see who gets pole position.
So Leclerc, myself, Verstappen, Sainz and Piastri are top 5. Everyone on the mediums except for the 2 AlphaTauri, Tsunoda and Ricciardo, looking at soft tyres. How strong will they be over the course of the following 12 laps? We'll have to wait and see.
We're almost ready to start the sprint as the cars take their positions on the grid, with the drivers and teams making their final preparations.
Of course, Monaco last time out was a disappointment, but we've got genuine pace this time round and not just holding a train back, so there's every chance we can try and win this sprint race, put ourselves on pole position and give ourselves a clean 8 points. Hopefully go to 25 we can try and get from winning this weekend's Grand Prix. Verstappen there on our left, Leclerc just in front of us. We'll try and get a better start over him going towards turn 1, but keep an eye on the Dutchman. Of course, he's had a fantastic start to the season, 3 wins in the first 5 races. Only Perez and Norris have also won Grand Prix as the last 2 cars take their places on the grid, but can we try and have a victory in a sprint race for the first time in Ultimate Career? Here come the lights to get this one underway. Leclerc on pole, we start second, try and get a better start, going towards turn 1, the lights are on. Lights up, foot to the floor, go, go, go. We are racing in the sprint race here. Fantastic getaway compared to Charles Leclerc on our left going towards the first corner, in towards turn 1. Leclerc still on the outside there, out of the first right-hander. Goes over the sausage curve a bit on corner exit, but stays alongside us. Dead even between myself and the Ferrari on the run up towards turns 2 and 3. Who's going to emerge at the braking zone in front? Sainz over Verstappen in 4th place, and Piastri rounds out your top 5. Leclerc leads going into turn 3 for the first time. Of course, it'll be a DRS zone on corner exit here, going down towards 4 in 2 laps' time. Yellow flag behind us, all clear though. I think it's just slow cars going through turn 3, but not a fantastic getaway there, given that we took the lead briefly on the start but lost it to Leclerc, but of course plenty of time to try and get it back, and we've got pace in this car. Red Bull perhaps not the fastest car going into this race weekend, but on to lap 2 now and closing on Leclerc, using a bit of our battery on corner exit out of turn 1 going towards turns 2 and 3. Can close all the way on Leclerc and try and pull to the outside of the racetrack if we can, going towards turn number 3 around the outside of the Ferrari. Can't quite do it. Leclerc clears us and maintains his lead for now, but can we try and come back at him going towards turn 4 though, closing in, using the back of that Ferrari as a tow, going all the way down towards the right hander now and pulling to the inside of the racetrack. Sainz in P3 3, no threat to us right now. Down the inside of Leclerc, can't quite do it. He's still on our outside there. He gets the better drive off and maintains P1 for the minute. Can we try and get him going towards turn 6 though on the outside into the left-hander Leclerc? It's just smart to back out right now. Bit too early on the race, starting a bit through turn 6, but Leclerc will maintain the spot for now. On to lap 3 and DRS in play for the first time in this sprint race up towards turn 3. Once again, this time there could be a solid chance of taking the race lead for ourselves. Of course, we've got to stay behind him as much as we can towards the braking zone to avoid losing DRS on corner exit. But around the outside of the Ferrari, of course, the first rivalry of the season between myself and Leclerc on corner exit, pulling miles clear there, using DRS to our benefit too as Sainz looks to try and challenge his teammate, but we lead the sprint for the first time today here on lap number 3. Verstappen has the fastest lap, so Verstappen's still got pace in him right now, but so keeping on him over the course of this one. But on to lap number 4 in this race, Sainz is closing the gap quite quickly here. He's on our tail now, he's got fastest lap himself. Going to defend the inside, making him go to the outside, going the long way round into turn 1, but of course Leclerc managed to stay alongside us on the first lap, doing the same thing. So Sainz again pulls even with us, making our way up towards turns 2 and 3. Verstappen now in P3, Leclerc is falling away here. Sainz on the outside, pulls in front, going towards turn 3. We'll have DRS though when we get off the corner, but Sainz for now holds the lead. But DRS is about to come back into play. Better exit, finding a way through on the inside, finding that little bit of room and sneaking back past Sainz. So P1 for us once again. Leclerc and Verstappen now quite way back here. Onto lap 5, Sainz might get his second go as he's going to try and defend the outside if we can. Can't block Sainz off, defend the inside instead. In towards this first corner, Sainz is in front by about a nose there, but on corner exit will jump back in front. Sainz goes alongside us, gets a poor exit, and we'll take full advantage of that as Verstappen might charge at Sainz, but Sainz charging at us. So 2 cars now coming towards us, going up towards turn 3, could go 3 wide here. Verstappen trying the outside, Sainz clears us, Verstappen still side by side with us going through 3, and on corner exit, keeping it in front of the Dutchman and sneaking back past Sainz on the right there, on the grass a little bit with the front right tyre, but Sainz gives us the space here, lets us draw alongside. I'm going to be a car in front going towards turn number 4. Sainz pulls back alongside, it's still dead even on corner exit. Sainz is there, he's got on the left side of the racetrack all to himself and force him towards the inside, making our way towards turn 6 now, but Sainz gets back in front, has the better line going into turn 6, down towards 7 now. Sainz will lead the way once again, so it's a tough race, these guys. It's going to give us a fantastic showing, even though we've got the fastest car on the grid as of right now. But going down towards turns 9 and 10 once again to the inside of Sainz, going to try going into the right-hander, not a wise move at all here, could risk wiping the wing off, so we'll maintain his position for now. Bit wide through turn 10. Verstappen might take advantage of that on corner exit going towards turn 1. Sainz now in front of about 4.5 tenths or so, making our way up towards the first corner once again onto lap 6 this Grand Prix, nearing the halfway stage. Around the outside of Sainz, getting enough for run to pull clear at corner exit, so once again back in the lead for now. But of course it's been changing mighty fast in this race. On to lap 6, about a second and a half back is Verstappen and Sainz. Yellow flag behind us though is one of the Haas cars who's got some kind of problem. Looks like they'll have to pull the car over. Has to decide whether that's Magnussen or Hulkenberg to make our way through turn number 7. It's Magnussen who's out of the Grand Prix. So our first retiree this race weekend is the Dane Kevin Magnussen, as Haas had to pull the car over, and that's got to call it quits this early on in the sprint race. Of course, that will likely mean a last place start for him in the Grand Prix. Only one of the Alfa Romeos was actually in front of him. That's Guan Yu Zhou, but Magnussen, no smoke from the back of the car, but has to pull it over regardless. There's a few more cars go charging through, so I was wrong about that. But the yellow flags are obviously out. There they are for Magnussen. Has to pull the car over, knocks out a bollard on the way through, and that's it for him. Game over for Magnussen, at least for now in the sprint race. On to lap 7 now, and Verstappen is right back behind us in P2. Sainz, Leclerc, and Hamilton, your top 5. Yellow flag again behind us. Another Red Bull's got a problem. It's Perez. He's got some kind of problem here going through turns 9 and 10. Sergio Perez becomes another retirement, so 2 retirements in about 2 or 3 laps. Verstappen takes the inside at turn 1 and pulls in front. Verstappen takes the lead here for Red Bull, but the other Red Bull is out of the race. Sergio Perez has had some kind of problem himself. Whether it's the same thing as it was for Magnussen, I've got no idea, but Perez comes through turn 9. All seems fine, but then he goes wide there, runs it out of shape, and pulls the car over, and that's it for him. So game over for Perez too. Making our way now onto lap 8 and challenging Verstappen. Safety car's been deployed, but something further back. Red flag! What's happened here? I mean, Perez's car is still stuck at the side of the racetrack, but everything was fine besides that. I think the AlphaTauri's had some kind of altercation, so red flag for now, and that'll set up a 3-lap dash to conclude this sprint race. And honestly, I'm a bit surprised. A red flag in a sprint race is a bit unnecessary, I think it has to be said. The safety car has always been quite unnecessary, but of course, a restart now here, going on to lap 10 of this race, and it's soft tyres, I think, for everyone going on to this restart. Of course, it'll be crucial to try and get us around Verstappen once again at the lights here. So here come the lights once more for our restart of the sprint race. 3 more laps to go in this thing to decide the winner Lights out, foot to the floor, and once again we are racing. But this poor getaway there compared to Verstappen, who covers us off going towards turn 1, but he's left the outside wide open. Can we try and get around him? Not quite. Verstappen holds the lead at the first corner. Sainz, Hamilton and Leclerc, your top 5 are going to go dancing past Max on the right though, using a bit of our overtake to our advantage, but Max draws back alongside. Dead even between the two former championship rivals. Going into turn 3, Verstappen pulls ahead, will take the place for now. I think the wise thing to do for the minute, we try and make sure we've got DRS for lap 12. Yellow flag behind us once again, the slow cars going through turn 3. Verstappen keeping in front, using overtake and trying to make a move for the lead though, if we can, going towards turn number 4. Max wants to run on the outside, we've got the inside though, over the curb, and we're getting all out of shape. Verstappen holds the lead, so I think for now, we're going to try and back out of it and try and keep ourselves in striking distance, but on to the end of lap number 11, start lap 12, the last lap of this race, and DRS is going back into play immediately following turn 1, so one more lap, the bell lap in this Austrian sprint. Verstappen leads, we sit second, and one of the Friday Night Carlos Sainz in third place. Hamilton sits fourth, Leclerc fifth. DRS though in play on Max Verstappen, going up towards turn 3 for the last time in this race, going to pull to the outside of the racetrack, going towards the right-hander. Verstappen still alongside us though, but we hung back and got DRS for the exit at turn 3 towards 4, shooting around the outside and taking the lead back in a perfectly timed move on corner exit. And now Sainz might come up Verstappen too. Sainz making the move to the outside, going for P2, back off Verstappen, making the way through towards turn 4, but things are all sorted for us. Last corner, and coming through, Sainz takes P2. We're going to run to the line though and take our first ever victory in a sprint race.
Max Verstappen should be pleased with his performance, making gains at the top of the table. With the sprint wrapped up, we now have our grid line up for the big race tomorrow. Be sure to join us then for what will no doubt be a fantastic race.
So there you have it then, our first ever victory in a sprint race. Sainz second, Verstappen third, Hamilton fourth, Leclerc from pole to fifth, Alonso, Piastri and Lando Norris. That's your top 8, that's your points paying places, but a fantastic sprint nonetheless. Of course, it was fast paced, and I think with the car being as strong as it was, we'll be in for some fantastic battles in the Grand Prix. But the standings then, we now sit 68 points by gaining 2 points on Verstappen, and now only a few points off the 2 McLarens. So there's every chance we can walk away from this one in 5th place in the World Championship. But of course, the sprint is now sorted, time for the main event.
Welcome from the beautiful Styrian Mountains for another chapter in the story of the Austrian Grand Prix. It's one of the shortest laps on the calendar today then, with 7 rights and just 3 lefts, making up the 10 corners of this high-speed circuit. Turn 2 is barely a corner at all. They'll be flat out through there, a left-hand kink into the uphill braking zone of turn 3. Turns 1, 3 and 4 are all potential opportunities to overtake. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Cohen lines up on pole position, and a very happy Carlos Sainz will start second. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Verstappen, Leclerc, Fernando Alonso, Oscar Piastri, Norris, Ocon, Bottas, Joe, Gasly, Albon, Stroll, Tsunoda, Hulkenberg, Sargent, Ricciardo, Hamilton, Perez, and Kevin Magnussen fills the last spot on the grid. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box. Ant, it's fantastic to have you with us here, but I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
Well, I imagine they'll be starting to feel the adrenaline as they anticipate the run down into turn 1, a bit like preparing to go into battle. The unknown situation will bring nerves, but that's a good thing. It will keep them focused on the moment and on their surroundings as we build towards the start of the Grand Prix.
No more talking then, time for action for the Austrian Grand Prix, the main event of the weekend, and for the second race in a row, we will be leading the field towards turn 1. Only our 3rd pole position in this series so far, if you're counting this as a pole position. But in terms of strategy for the race ahead then, of course, softs to mediums, the recommended strategy. We're going to try the Ulster strategy though. Start on the mediums and go on the softs towards the end of the race, hopefully make us a bit stronger towards that last part of the Grand Prix to try and chase everyone down in the latter stages. But will it pay off? Only time will tell. It's time now to find out.
Here we go then, the formation lap gets underway and the excitement here is building as we near ever closer to the start of the race. Which team will come out on top? Who's got their strategies right for today's race? But we'll soon find out.
Decent mix then of mediums and soft tyres for the race start. Closest medium runners being Leclerc and Alonso. Just keeping an eye out for those guys in the first stint. But signs of Verstappen look quick.
Almost ready to start the race as the cars take their positions on the grid, with the drivers and teams making their final preparations.
So here we go now, onto the grid. We're looking for our first race victory of 2023. Signs of Verstappen from P2 and P3, both of them on the soft tyres. Keeping up for those guys being fast on the race start, and especially in this first stint. Of course, Leclerc and Alonso P4 and P5 on the medium, so expect us to be on our pace over the course of this Grand Prix. Of course, yet to take our first victory of the year. Monaco is our best chance so far. This could be our even better chance than that with a sprint victory in our pocket too, as the last few cars, Perez and Magnussen, take their places now at the back of the grid to get this one underway. Here come the lights then for the Austrian Grand Prix from P1 on the grid, 36 laps away. Lights out, a foot to the floor, go, 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 decent start there, signs of a good start, right towards that first corner, but no real challenge to us. He's on our inside, making our way into that first corner, Sainz pulls alongside, but on corner exit will jump back in front, the outside line, the place to be, and will lead out of turn 1 and going up towards turns 2 and 3, so decent getaway there. Could have been a lot stronger, but up towards turn 3, we hold the lead regardless. Sainz, Leclerc, Verstappen all coming at us towards this third corner, but none of them challenging to the inside or the outside, going into the right-hander. So we'll maintain our spot for now. Sainz in P2, Verstappen 3rd, Leclerc 4th, and Alonso rounds out your top 5. So a decent start here, and we'll just get to work and try and build an early lead here. But on to lap number 2, Verstappen and Sainz, P2 and P3, are fighting amongst themselves going into turn number 3, this right-hand. You see them going side by side, and of course that holds the whole grid up. They're now 2 seconds behind us. Plenty of work for us to do in this race, but they're giving us a much easier task here. It would actually get a challenge in this Grand Prix, going all the way up to lap number 8 of this race, to make our way off of turn number 10. Verstappen is now right behind us, Alonso now 3rd, Leclerc 4th, and Sainz the fastest lap in 5th place. But we went 8 laps there with no real challenge in this Grand Prix, but Verstappen is set to give us our first real scrap for position here. Out of turn 1, we have DRS to his name, Alonso and Leclerc both fall behind us, so up towards turns 2 and 3 for the 9th time in this race, almost a quarter of the way through this thing. Verstappen is closing in, tries the outside, going towards the right-hander. Could be the better place to go. Got DRS though hanging back once again, to make sure we get it off of turn 3 and towards turn 4. Verstappen doesn't get as far up front as he might like here, and on corner exit, use DRS and breeze back past our former championship rival and current world championship leader. Verstappen falls back to P2. We maintain the lead for now, but Verstappen letting us know he's about now. And plenty of time for those guys to get around us. Of course, those cars behind us have plenty of pace in them, despite us only just being the quickest car as of right now. Red Bull still extremely strong, making our way through turn 6, running a bit wide off our line there to make our way to the left-hander. And on corner exit, Max might see an opportunity to try and go for something in this last sector, making our way through turns 7 and 8 here. Bit deep there, bit over the curb. Verstappen takes full advantage and closes in, making our way towards turn 9 now, the penultimate corner on the circuit. Verstappen tries the inside, no point trying to tussle going through there. Verstappen, with a head full of steam, takes the lead away for the first time in this race on lap number 9, and Alonso and Leclerc are now snapping at our heels, trying to get around us here. Starting off of turn number 10 and closing on Verstappen once again up towards turn 1 for the 10th time in this race. Leclerc trying the outside behind us, and Alonso looking for 3rd place, can't quite do it though. So P2 for us though is the main thing, and we're trying to get around Verstappen with DRS once again up towards turn 3 once more, closing in all the time on the Dutchman up towards the right-hander, pulling to the inside this time, all the way to the right side of the track, nearing the gravel there, making our way towards the braking zone. Verstappen has to give us the room there going through turn 3, very tight indeed, but a better exit for us, and using DRS once again and pulling in front. Not a lot of battery being used so far, no overtake on corner exit. We've got plenty of pace in the car without that.
Okay, as things stand, we're going to be 5th in the championship.
5th place then if we win this Grand Prix. Verstappen though taking advantage deep there, contact as we go deep into turn 7. Verstappen through turn 8 takes full advantage, takes the lead for himself, and now Alonso and Leclerc are both coming at us up towards turn 9. Contact! We've run into Alonso there and spun out and gone off the runoff towards turn number 9 now. That's going to cost us so much time. So lucky, no damage done to the race car, only warm tyres at this point, but what just happened there? Completely our fault. We went too much on Alonso, didn't see Leclerc coming, moved over, and we were not clear of the Spaniard. So down to P10 here, and plenty of work to be done this race now. We're getting right to work on trying to make up this time. But our first race win of the season could have gone out the window with that move potentially. That could have been race ending potentially. Around the outside of Bottas, our first target through turn 3 on lap 12 of this race, and Gasly and Albon, our next 2 targets. Of course, our former teammate in the AlphaTauri, now at Alpine. Gasly on our inside going towards turn 4. Around the outside of him, around the outside of Albon, 2 double passes here. 2 overtakes in 1, going through turn 4 and back into P7 again, and working on chasing down the 2 McLarens now, but still kicking ourselves for what is an easy mistake to avoid. On to lap 17 now. Leclerc and Alonso both pitting, the pit window now wide open as we're the last car coming to the pit lane here. Leclerc onto hard tyres, Alonso into hard tyres too. What are those guys plotting there? Verstappen, though, is on his medium tyres after a soft in the first stint, and he is hunting us down here with plenty of pace in that race car. Of course, our mediums are starting to wear out now. So onto lap 20, making a way up towards turn 3. Verstappen is now back in DRS range, and at this point, it feels more a case of when, not if, he'll pass us wide there at turn 3 over the curb. On corner exit, Verstappen takes full advantage of that, has DRS to his credit now, going towards turn 4, closing in all the time, pulls to the inside of the racetrack and takes the race lead back from us. He's made his pit stop though, we haven't, so we're quietly back in this Grand Prix. I think now, crucially, obviously, we've still got one more lap left in our first stint, but I think the time is right to come in and make our change onto our soft tyres and try and make up that time back. Of course, it's a lap earlier than we might have anticipated, but there's no pace in this car right now. Making our way into the pit lane and still crucially ruining that first mistake on lap number 9 of this race. Spinning out with Alonso, too easy to avoid, but we made a silly error and it's cost us massively here. Soft tyres go into the race car. Fortunately, no wing change needs to be made. There's no damage done to the front wing from that collision. We're going to rejoin around P7, P8 here. Piastri goes through. Hamilton likely going through as well. Our teammate, of course, fighting back from that grid penalty he had. Albon there in P9. Does he get us 2 going towards turn 1? Won't do it for now. We're going to emerge just in front of the Williams car and in front of Valtteri Bottas and the Alfa Romeo. But on pit exit now and getting back to work. 16 laps to try and gain as many places as we can in this race. On to the end of lap number 22, start lap 23. Fastest lap in our possession here. So we've got 1 bonus point going towards us if we can hold that towards the end of this race. Into turn 1 once again and working on chasing down Piastri and Hamilton. Yellow flag behind us though. One of the Haas cars. It's Kevin Magnussen again for the second time in this race weekend. Magnussen's got a problem. It's cost him dearly once more. The car gets all, he moves the car, tries to get working again. Yellow flags are on the lights outside the racetrack. Magnussen though is done, making his way to the turn 9 where Perez retired yesterday. Magnussen pulls the car over. That's it for him. What a shoddy weekend for Haas here. No points in the books for them. On to lap 27 now, into the final 10 laps of this race. A 4-car train here being led by Alonso, then Norris, Hamilton and Piastri all ahead of us now. Making our way up towards turn number 3 once again. Piastri is our first target. On corner exit, DRS in play, soft tyres, giving us all the grip we need to try and pull in front of Piastri, well, only just in front of Piastri. He's pulling back alongside us, going towards turn 4 now. He's got a very good car under him as the Oscar Piastri, as he did in Monaco last time out here. But around him now and making a move on Hamilton, making our way towards turn number 6. Around the outside of our teammate, can we do it on corner exit? Can't quite do it. Hamilton stays in front. Norris now in front of Alonso. The 2 Ferraris went the road and Max Verstappen with a dominant lead here to make our way onto that 28. Only 9 more laps to go in this race. Let's make our way through turn 1 on the inside of Hamilton, and I've got word here that something's going on with Max Verstappen up front. There's yellow flags being displayed in the circuit. I'm not quite sure what for. There it is, there's the yellow light, but the Ferraris are too far back. It can't be them, so it's got to be Max Verstappen. I can't believe, are you kidding me? Has he got a problem with some kind? He's slowing up. Look, let's have the onboard here. There's smoke from Verstappen. Yes, fantastic. And I shouldn't be that pleased about it, but of course Verstappen has been far and away the strongest contender this season. Pulls the car over, and the RB19 is not bulletproof. Verstappen is out, or at least Verstappen's RB19 isn't bulletproof, but it's game over for him. That's 1 place for us now, and of course fighting Norris and Alonso for a podium and chasing the 2 hard-tyre Ferraris for a race victory here. Is this one still on? There'll be 8 laps left. Can we cross the line? Alonso, our last target in this train, up towards turn 1 once again. DRS in full deploy. Sainz 7.9 seconds in front, around the outside of Alonso, trying to catch the Spaniard unawares of that first corner, around the outside and taking DRS 2, and now running for our lives as Norris tries to challenge Alonso up towards turn 3 again. Leclerc in the lead, Sainz in second, but those two might be a bit too far in front. Our soft tyres are now quite worn, but Norris and Alonso going side by side through turn 3. Piastri making it 3 wide, and that'll more or less ease any pressure from the cars behind for our podium finish. On to the last lap here. The Ferrari is now 5.4 seconds in front for Leclerc, leads the way, Sainz in tow, and those two are coming back in formation here. Verstappen's retirement has opened the door fantastically for the Scuderia to come through and take their first victory this season. Leclerc leads Sainz off the last corner to take his first victory of 2023. Charles Leclerc wins the Austrian Grand Prix, Carlos Sainz second, and will come home from pole to finish third after that spin earlier on in the race. A fantastic drive regardless, but frustrating. That could have been our first victory, but we can still take comfort from the fact that this car is perhaps the strongest now on the grid, and Verstappen's retirement opens things up in the standings slightly more, and plenty of time now with 10 races left to try and hunt it down in the World Championship.
And here's our winner, pulling their Ferrari into Parc Fermé after a fantastic race. Here come our winners now, a thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari. Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again.
So Leclerc then takes a 1-2 for Ferrari with Sainz in second, and we finish in third place. Again, this could have been our race to win. That spin costing us dramatically. Who knows what could have happened if that hadn't happened, but that is Formula 1 for you sometimes. Celebrations begin then for Ferrari. Their first win, their first 1-2 of the season, and Mercedes wait for their first victory of the season. Goes on a race longer, but of course our home race next to Mount Silverstone, so plenty of chance to impress. But let's have a look for now at the final results, and of course that the standings have changed following this fantastic Austrian Grand Prix.
So let's see what effect this result has had on the drivers' standings. Well, that lead at the top has somewhat shrunk today. Some amazing talent out on the track today. But Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
Charles Leclerc showed exactly how to manage yourself out on the track today. He was almost flawless out there. Incredible stuff.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. It was a tough race for our championship leaders who lose ground at the top of the table. Meanwhile, Ferrari have improved their position. A strong weekend for them as they fight their way towards the top. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport action. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula 1.
So as for the rest of the top 10 in this Austrian Grand Prix, Alonso finishes in 4th, Hamilton fights from P18 up to P5, Piastri 6th, Norris 7th, Perez from P19 to P8, fantastic drive from Hamilton and Perez, Bottas 9th, and Alexander Albon takes the final point on offer, and Max Verstappen P19 DNF for the first time since Singapore Season 2. It's been a long time since Verstappen's failed to finish, but he still leads the championship though. Hamilton though 19 points back. With the win it could have been a lot more, but of course we sit 52 points behind now Verstappen, so plenty of gains today, and back to P5 in the standings once again, and working on chasing down Perez for P4. Red Bull lead Mercedes by 35 points now. Mercedes heavily outscored Red Bull in this race, and plenty of opportunity then to try and nab that Constructors' Championship. So everything's still on for us. Everything's still wide open. But guys, that'll do it for this episode of the F1 Ultimate Career Series. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, as always, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more future F1 content. An absolutely fantastic day. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Goodbye.